Hello and welcome along to AVFTS Wrexham. I hope you're well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to whenever you're tuning in. Thank you so much. It's the international break and let's be honest, is anyone actually excited for this one? England themselves have one friendly against Wales and one competitive game. It seems an utter waste of time, and particularly for Wrexham where things are trying to get going. We're trying to find our first home win. We've had some good away performances. The squad's starting to come together. All these new signings. And now we have a little stoppage again where we can't quite build up this momentum train. So frustrating. But I'm going to bring you a bit of a different type of video today. Something that is completely a content we haven't done. I want to know what you guys think of this. If you like it, then of course, make sure you show your love by liking, subscribing, get in the comment section, and all that good stuff. So the aim of today's video is to actually go through all of Wrexham's transfer signings from the summer and give you my thoughts on how they've started, how they've got on, what I think need to improve on. And I'd love for you guys as well to add in anything that you've noticed from what I've said. So without further ado, let's get into this video. And the first signing that I'm going to start with on my screen is none other than Nathan Broadhead. And I actually think this is a really hard one to start on because Nathan Broadhead came with a massive fee. The rumour fee around £8 to £9 million for Nathan Broadhead from Ipswich. And quite frankly, if I wanted to put a simple one-line antidote to describe Nathan Broadhead is, can't get in the starting lineup. And that's criminal when you have a player of that amount of money not being able to get into Wrexham's best 11 yet, as Phil Parkinson has basically chosen the same attack 2-3 games in a row. If you look at the last two with Leicester City away and that brilliant draw there, and he then went and picked the same attack against Birmingham City. So Broadhead's not getting in the side. Yet he came and made his impact in the last round of the Carabao Cup against Reading, where he scored, was instrumental, was pivotal going forward and looked a real bright prospect. So Broadhead's an interesting one because when we do see glimpses of him, he looks dangerous. Looks like he still needs to add a little bit more to his game, a little bit more sharpness, a little bit more, I think he's quite weak on the ball, a little bit more strength when he's got the ball. But I think he's definitely got an eye for goal and definitely someone who can leapfrog us forward. So the big question is really, Nathan Broadhead for the first, 9, 10 games of the season really has been underwhelming for what we've paid for him. So I've not been happy with what we've had out of Broadhead, and I hope we get to see a lot more of him and in the starting lineup. So for me, Broadhead so far has been a 4 out of 10 signing, I would say. That's my opinion. I'd love to know yours. The next one, Ben Sheaf. Now this guy came even later in the transfer window. And Ben Sheaf, for me, was a position and a player that Wrexham badly needed and a player that was a bit of a coup. And the reason why I say that is because he was absolutely pivotal for Coventry under Frank Lampard last season until he got his injury. And then he found himself coming out the pecking order. Ben Sheaf has slotted in quite nicely into that Wrexham midfield, especially where it depends who he plays, if he goes with James or if he goes with Dobbo alongside him. He seems to quite like Sheaf in that deeper line playmaker, where Sheaf can pick up the ball off the back three. He sprays some lovely balls out. And we think about Kabore and his assists against Norwich City. Well, one of those passes came from Ben Sheaf, which was absolutely pinpoint. This guy's definitely got a range of passing. And this guy definitely, for me, is the linchpin between the defence and the attack. But one thing of note is his last couple of games against Birmingham City and Leicester City, he actually faded out the games very easily. He wasn't as impactful as he was previously. And for me, I'm asking those questions then. Can he handle the big games, the big game pressure, Ben Sheaf? But it's early days, but I really like Ben Sheaf. I think we definitely need to build around him in that midfield. But when you are still an option where you're getting subbed off in the last couple of games for Matty James, you have to ask questions. Is he doing enough? So for me, Ben Sheaf, I think he's had a really bright start as a Wrexham player, and I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. On to the next one, Callum Doyle. I'm going to be honest with you. He's called Cannon Doyle in my eyes. This guy is an absolute maverick. This guy, for me, has a mistake in him every game defensively, whether he charges out of the back three and leaves massive space in behind, whether he goes on one of his marauding runs and loses the ball. And for me, he's a typical player who's come through the Manchester City ranks and academy. He's someone who loves the ball at his feet, loves to play out, loves to take risks. And it can look pretty in academy football, under 21 football, and probably even if he's in the Man City team, he's got all the space and time in the world. But this is the EFL Championship. This is Wrexham. And you don't have the luxury of that. So as much as he likes to be on the ball and he likes to go forward, a bit like Max Cleworth on the other side, there's been too many defensive, fragile mistakes from Callum Doyle. And to put it into perspective, I don't think Parky has settled on who his best left centre-back is, because we've seen Lewis Brunt and Callum Doyle continuously swap in and swap out with each other. So with me, Callum Doyle, or Cannon Doyle, is that moment of you don't know what you're going to get from him. You're either going to get a worldie of a game or you're going to get a clanger. And for that reason, and that reason only, Callum Doyle for me is actually going to drop to a 5 out of 10. He's right down in the middle. Have not made up my mind yet of where we're going to get with Callum Doyle. And that's the reason I'm a 5. So again, would love to know your thoughts on Callum Doyle in the comment section, what you've made of his early impact. Next one, easiest one to describe, is Lewis O'Brien. Lewis O'Brien, coming from Nottingham Forest. The fee as well, by the way, £3.5 million, is an absolute steal. By far the most impactful new signing. By far the most technical signing we've had. And his work rate is nothing but incredible. This guy is the real deal. This guy is the enigma to this Wrexham side doing well. We must keep him fit. We must keep Lewis O'Brien ticking, and we need to get him as far forward as possible. The closer Lewis O'Brien is to the opposition goal, the better. If I had to criticise Lewis O'Brien, he's missed some gilt-edged chances in the last couple of games again. And people might say this is recency bias, but I think it's very important to look at where he started and where he is now. Against Leicester City, he missed that massive one-on-one, and again at Birmingham, against Birmingham City, could have made it 2-0 within 20 minutes. However, he's chipped in with goals, key goals. He chipped in with assists. He just has something about him that makes you go, wow, this is some player. So for me, Lewis O'Brien easily has come in as a 9 out of 10 summer signing so far. I think he's had a bit massive impact. Next one then, Dom Hyam. And again, apologies if I butchered his name. I always have to apologise on that. Until someone corrects me, I'm going to call him Hyam until I get it wrong. Okay, quite simply, this one comes in as the last signing in the transfer window. Comes in and basically says to Connor Cody, yeah, you're a bit too slow. You've made a bit too many mistakes, Connor. I need to come in and settle this defence. And for me, he's done just that. I think the back three looks so much better with him at the heart of it. I think he's a real leader. Again, a Scottish international, played in this level from Blackburn Rovers in many years. It was such a smart signing, a brilliant signing. I like his professionalism. I like his attitude. I like his application. He doesn't try to do anything too special. He just does what he's there to do, defend. I like him a lot. And actually, for someone who came in as our last signing, he hasn't looked out of place. For me, Hyam is a massive 8 out of 10 signing. The only thing I would say is that we could have leaked less goals. And being at the centre of that back three, the chief in commander, you know, he's got to pull Max and Callum and Lewis Brunt into him, organise them better. That's his role. Connor Cody failed, but I think he can do better. The next one then, Libby Kakache, our first Kiwi, our first international signing of this transfer window, of this summer window. And so much promise, so much hype, so much good glimpses of what we've seen, but we simply haven't seen enough of him. An injury that's given him a setback, badly missing that out-and-out left wing back. Of course, Longman's had to come in and done a solid job, but he's no Libby, he's no Liberato. And I think he is going to be so key to our team when he comes back to get balance and take all the pressure of Issa Kabore on the right-hand side. So, Libby Kakache, I can't say much about him because we haven't seen enough. And for that reason only, like Broadhead getting a 4 out of 10, just because Libby, when he has played, has done well, he can come in as a 4 out of 10 as well. Next one, Connor Cody. Oh boy, yeah. I don't know if he pictured his Wrexham career going like this, but it already seems 8-9 games in that Parky's had enough of him. Conor Coady finding himself on the bench now, left out of the starting lineups. I don't even think he made a matchday squad one week. Yeah, Conor Coady's in the mud. He's been exposed early on for his lack of pace. He's been exposed for his mistakes. And the back three was nothing but a mess. An absolute mess. And you would think with Conor Coady, 32, the experience that he's had, the international football he's played, the high quality, European football he's played for Wolves, you'd think this guy could sort out Wrexham's back three. My gosh, it's been nothing but a calamity. Hyam's come in and said, hold my beer, I'll take that over. And for that reason only, with Conor Coady and his reputation, and being dropped as soon as we signed Dom, it's quite clear to me this is a stinker of a start for Conor. Conor's actually going to get a 1 out of 10. And I stand by that. You can't get dropped this early on in your career at Wrexham and be seen as a cast out this early on. It's just absolutely outrageous. By the way, people, if you're still watching on this video as well, I really appreciate it. Let me know if you do watch all the way through, and make sure you smash the like button as well. We've got a few more to go through. Big Kiefer Moore. Okay, Kiefer, splits opinion. Kiefer Moore for me, powerhouse. He's been a goal scorer. He's bailed us out, and he has been as important as our attack, as Lewis O'Brien in my eyes. Kiefer Moore is what Wrexham have to play into and play off of. He obviously had one little injury, very early on in the season, and we got him back. And Kiefer has scored big goals for us. You cannot deny that. But I think fans' frustration with Kiefer Moore is some of the absolute diabolical link-up play, some of the horrendous decision-making, and some of his inaccuracy of passing and hold-up is driving fans mad. There have been times where I've got to 70 minutes in a game and said, Kiefer needs to roll off now. We need to get Smith on. Or we need to swap it up for Kiefer. And yet Kiefer stays on for another 10, 15 minutes. Kiefer has a set of skills, and Wrexham need to play to them. And if his set of skills, his aerial ability and aerial threat isn't being used, then he needs to be dragged off, and we need to try something else. However, for the impact that he's had, for the goals that he scored, I can't knock Kiefer down. He's a 7 out of 10 for me right now. He would be even higher. He'd be Lewis O'Brien levels if his whole game was a little bit more consistent like Lewis's. And that's what I've got to say on that matter. Some people may completely disagree with that rating, but that's what I'm locking in. Next one. This one's easy as well. George Thomason. Signed for Bolton as their captain. Signed with us, and he was injured. He slowly had to make his way back. We've only seen glimpses of him as a sub. I can't really formulate an opinion apart from he seems like he's got an engine. But as a summer transfer goes, he's probably a 2 out of 10. Again, not ideal that we signed a player injured. Hasn't forced his way into that midfield. As I said, Matty James is still keeping him lower in the pecking order. Hasn't been able to find a way in. And that, for me, maybe a little bit of a worry that a player like him, apart from the League Cup, hasn't been able to find his way into that league. I'm judging it on the championship, the league's team, the league squad. He hasn't forced his way in. He's found himself on the bench. So 2 out of 10. Next one. Ryan Hardie. I think our first signing. Oh, Ryan Hardie. Yeah. You wouldn't be putting your house or your mortgage or your life on this guy scoring a one-on-one. That may sound brutal, but Ryan Hardie, for me, has missed chances that have tarnished him. And game time and opportunity has fallen off a cliff for him. We've got Kiefer, we've got Windass, we've got Broadhead, and Broadhead can't even get a game. And all of a sudden you've got Smith as well. And all of a sudden Ryan Hardie has gone down to like 5th choice striker. And if you're a new signing, and I'm going to go to this again about 10 games in, and you're 5th choice striker, and you've just come this summer, serious issues, serious problems. So again, as much as the prospect of Ryan Hardie looked good, this has been another stinker of a Wrexham summer signing, in my opinion. A waste of a signing. We could have acquired better, in my opinion. And that alone, from going from what could have been our 1st choice striker basically to our 5th, like Conor Coady, he's getting slapped with a 1. As brutal as that sounds, you can't go from being signed and you're literally now behind Sam Smith in the pecking order. That's crazy, right? So for me, that's how I see Hardie. Has let himself down in front of goal and not the bagsman we need. Time to move him on very quickly and get a new reinforcement in. And then we move on. This is a long list. But of course, we made 13 signings. Danny Ward. Look, Danny Ward, contrary to beliefs, actually kept Arthur on the bench at the start of the season. People go, what are we doing? Why have we got Arthur on the bench? Why is Danny Ward starting? Leicester fans trying to mock us. Bottom line is, I think we underestimated Danny Ward. I think he did quite solid. I think he was a solid option with his experience. And after seeing how Arthur's been in the last 3 weeks, shaky, nervous, I think we're starting to appreciate how good Danny Ward actually was. And he wasn't that bad after all. And that is credit to him, that it's needed, you know, another goalkeeper to sort of show his levels. That is a little bit sad. But yeah, in my opinion, Danny Ward, if he was fit and available, would still be our number one. And that is a good sign for him. But of course, getting that injury, unavoidable. I'm going to have to rank Danny a bang on 5 because he did well. But getting an injury, you can't give him any higher. I feel bad for him, but that's my rating. It probably doesn't make sense to some, but that's what I've got to give him. 2 more to go. Josh Windass, my captain, our captain. That's massive in itself, right, guys? A new signing comes in from Sheffield Wednesday. What a mess of a club they are. And takes the captain's armband and goes, here we go. That's testimony to him. One criticism of Josh Windass, got injured too much at the start, didn't he? We haven't been able to see the full Windass effect. Again, being someone who's been subbed off for Broadhead, that seems the go-to substitution. Usually blows a gasket about 70 minutes in. Been asked to do a real hard defensive graft as well, what he's not been used to. But let's be honest, this guy's got that moment of magic. He's got that wow factor. He's the one who can turn it around, and certainly showed us that at Carrow Road. Windass is sublime. His finishing is beautiful. He is another talisman. And what he brings to this side is that playing on the cuff, playing on the edge. Give it to him and he'll do something special. So between him and Lewis O'Brien, that link up is beautiful. Windass comes in for me as a really solid 8 out of 10. Just wish he avoided some injury at start, but his impact's been magnificent. He's scoring goals while being injured. Look, all I can think about is his second goal against Norwich City to know we have a real special player, and that was a massive win for us. So he's getting highly rated, 8 out of 10. But if he keeps getting these injuries, his rating will drop as the season goes on. Finally, Issa Kabore. Issa Kabore. We love it. Look, what can I say? He's made Barney and Longman look slow. His assists now, I think it's 3 assists in 4 games. He really has come into this Wrexham side and made an instant impact. All our attacks come down the right-hand side because of him. He has this responsibility to create for us. He has a work ethic. He's defensively solid. He loves to get forward. He is a massive threat. And without him, I don't think we would have won against Norwich either. And that probably sums him up. He was that good, that impactful. Kabore, for me, is the man. He is someone we need to keep fit because I don't think Longman or Barney come close to him. And he's a player Wrexham really cannot afford to lose. If we can get him on the right, Libby Kakachai on the left, we're going to cook. So with Kabore, I think there's a lot more to come from him as well. And that excites me. This guy's had an instant impact. I've got to rank him in between Windass and O'Brien. So I'm going to give him an 8.5. That's how good I think Kabore's short spell has been for us. And I can't wait to see what his season numbers end as. That, for me, is the one to watch. I think he's going to excel even more. Watch his assists go through the roof. So there we go, people. That is all 13 of Wrexham's summer transfers summed up in a 20-minute video to tell you what my thoughts are on them, how they've done so far. If you have sat all the way through this, you're a proper legend. I want to know your thoughts, your feelings on all these players, and give me your account. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you support the content, and let's get through this international break together. I'm out of here. Ta-da.